All right, Flight Risk. This movie is unbelievable in a lot of ways. It's not the best movie. It's just not really a good movie at all. Now, I went into this movie not knowing anything about it except it stars Marky Mark and Topher Grace. Marky Mark has done a lot of good movies. I particularly liked I Heart Huckabees. And Topher Grace is the star of that 70s show. So I thought I'd give it a watch. I thought it would be a pretty decent movie. Turns out, well, it's really not a good movie at all. It's not really well made. So it starts off with Topher Grace in his hotel room in Alaska. And he's a wanted fugitive. And all of a sudden at the door, two state troopers burst in, along with a deputy, a U.S. Marshal deputy, who is a lady, and they're arresting him, and that's it. Only 3 people are arresting this wanted guy in the middle of Alaska, in the middle of nowhere. Seems pretty unbelievable, right? You got a fugitive and only 3 people arresting him. Not very realistic, but it has to happen because the movie has to happen. So you have the setup of the fugitive and the deputy, and they charter a plane. And this plane is very awful. It is like, it reminded me so much of the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom plane that I thought they might lift from that movie, but they don't lift from the movie. But it's a small, cramped plane, just like Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. And Marky Mark is the pilot. And it's pretty obvious something's off with this guy. And if you watch the trailer, they pretty much give the movie away. I mean, I don't think you can't give this. The trailer gives the movie away. Let's just put it like that. And like I said, I didn't see the trailer. I didn't know anything about the movie, except it had Marky Mark and Topher Grace. And it was pretty obvious that Marky Mark was the bad guy. Turns out, yeah, he's the bad guy. They find out he's a bad guy, and they get in a fight. They get in a scuffle. And the lady deputy tasers him, and his hat comes off and his wig comes off. I mean, what is this? It's so ridiculous. Marky Mark is wearing a bald cap. Why did they give him a bald cap? He looks stupid, and it really doesn't do anything for his character. But it's pretty funny that he's the way he looks. It just looks dumb. So the rest of the movie, you got Topher Grace, the fugitive, in handcuffs, and the deputy marshal working together to solve how to fly the plane. This is a trope that you see in a lot of movies with the criminal and the policeman working together. And then they work together in this movie. And so she takes her satellite phone and she calls home. And she's like, help me fly this plane. And they set her up with an air traffic controller from Anchorage. And this is probably the most ridiculous part. This guy calls her up, and his name is Hassan. And he is like, oh, lovely lady, I help you land the plane. What are you doing after you land the plane? And the lady's like, I don't know, I guess I'll go home. Go home? You don't want to go out? And she says, you want to go out with me? And he says, you said it, lady. We go out when you land the plane. And then all throughout the movie, you have periodic times when they talk to each other. And he says the most inappropriate sexual stuff, which I guess is supposed to provide levity, but it only sounds creepy. And it only plays into the Indian incel stereotype that Indians love to harass white women. They ask for the bob and vagene, and they harass women when they go over to India. But he says one time, oh, I like to drink very much. You buy my drink, and we drink, and then we boogie on the dance floor. And it is so ridiculous. It's just I don't know how that got in the movie in this time and age. I don't know. It doesn't seem like somebody would approve it, but they got approved. So after a lot of adventure, after a lot of mishaps, they end up landing the plane. And while they're landing the plane, Marky Mark's character gets thrown out of the window. Very conveniently. Now, we don't have to deal with him. We don't have to find out who he was working for, why he was doing this, or anything. We don't get to find out anything. That's great. He's gone. End of story. End of Marky Mark. So the plane crash lands, and then Hassan is out. He's waving his arms up in the, like he's dancing. He's waving his arms. Hey, lady, lovely lady, over here. We're going on a date now. And but she's looking past him at the guy behind him, who is a bad guy. Turns out to be a bad guy, and she ends up saving the day. And then the movie ends. That's it. She saves the day and the movie ends. We don't find out anything. We have no idea why the things that happen. We have no idea why anything happened in this movie. Except, I don't know. But then the funniest thing happens is the first credit comes up. Directed by Mel Gibson. Directed by Mel Gibson. I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know. Because I didn't see the trailer. So I didn't know Mel Gibson directed this. And, this guy gave us Braveheart. And The Patriot. And a whole bunch of other movies. And he directed this. It's like, wow. How did he fall so low? I don't know. I don't know how he fell so low. But this is just an unbelievably ridiculous movie. Especially the part with Hassan. I thought that part with Hassan and him making sexual advances during this intense scene where the woman is trying to fly the plane and he is all like thinking about his junk and about how he can get them together and about, we're going on a date, lady, and you're going to pay for it and you will buy my drink because I like to drink a lot and we boogie on the dance floor. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So watch this movie at your risk. That's it.